At work.
Oh, you are working today.
I work every day.
When is he not
Oh,
working?
Word. That's
guys.
true.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your boy Sir Wilkins here, and I hope all is well. We are back for the season premiere of Coffee Talk with Friends, and I brought some beautiful, smelling good friends along this road of great conversation. First things first, on the bottom, Miss Queen PR. You know her as Queen PR. I don't know what PR stands for, but we're going to dig into that soon.
Wow, after all these years.
Then to my right, I think, or my left, whatever it is, Seindole. And her at is reload.relive.
There
We
we
don't know
go.
what that means, but we're going to find out today.
Yes, we are.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are hot. We are on a road to I don't know where because wrestling has cooled off somewhat because all the big shows are kind of stopped, except for Impact. They got some stuff coming up. We came off All In, All Out, Payback, SummerSlam. There was a lot of wrestling over the past month.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
It's a
But
summer of
we are
wrestling for
here.
real.
But the biggest thing I want to talk about is women's wrestling. Women's wrestling supposedly has fell off, especially on the American soil. Many people have complained from about every company and the way they've been treating women's wrestling, except I would say Impact. And we're going to talk about that today. Good morning, everybody that's coming into the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. But first things first, Queen PR, what does Queen PR mean? Because we can't let people know.
So a lot of people assume that it meant public relations because I work in media, but it's actually my first and last name, Patricia Rogers. That's the last time I'm gonna say my government, but that's what it stands for. But I got a lot of job opportunities because people thought that's what it's. They're like, "Oh, you're the queen of PR. Let me hire you to do this." So I kind of just let it rock, but it stands for my name.
Damn. Well,
Yep.
Mythbusters.
And it's funny because like even like friends that I've known for years that I've known through the wrestling space are like, wait, Patricia, oh, that's what it. And I'm like, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, Siendo. First of all, does Siendo have a meaning?
Yes, it means a meaningful journey in Liberian. So,
you're
Liberian girl.
yes, I am Liberian girl. I'm
And
the one
I,
Michael dedicated it to. Well, I'm just kidding. Many of us, but yes, I am Liberian. Proud and proud.
Yes. So your app name is reload.relive. Does it
Yes, it
mean
is.
guns or does it mean cameras?
It's a little bit of both. I've
A little bit
been
of
in
guns and
photography.
cameras.
Yes, so as you can see, I'm a big camera nerd. I've been doing photography for around literally a decade, 11 years
I would
now.
say a little longer, babe.
Yeah, a little longer than that. I've been in and out because, not gonna lie, like wrestling fans, the community's a little fickle. But here and there, I get back into photography and lenses and everything. And the Reload Relive has to do a lot with that. But most about it's my life. Like I've started over and done so many things for myself that I'm just like, listen, but life's too short, but also long. Just like start the fuck over again. You know what I mean? So that's mostly why I stick by that phrase, reload and relive. Just start over. If you mess up,
Thank you,
start over,
Vaughn.
do it again. That's it.
So let's start off first. First thing, did you guys watch wrestling this week?
Yes.
I did.
We are not going to go through every show because I refuse to do that because there's way too much fucking wrestling going on.
Right.
Which show was your favorite this week?
NXT.
NXT? Why?
Mm-hmm. It bridged a lot of gaps between all the rosters, and I don't know if people paid attention. More specifically, with the upcoming match with Becky Lynch and Tiffany Stratton. You saw her on Raw. You saw her show up to pay-per-views. You saw her show up backstage after like one of Becky's again, Becky bounces back. And you even saw her interrupt that segment. And I just thought it was a big, good, creative power play storytelling. Because one, a lot of people didn't know where Tiffany Stratton's character was going to go as champion. Right. But now you're kind of like, wait, Becky's willing to go all the way back to NXT where she first started to deal with this girl for a championship that even though she never really needed, she never really had. It bridged a lot of gaps between the roster, which I always find interesting that they're getting people to go and come back. Like Dom, this week he's been very involved. He's a very good run as the North American champion, in my opinion. It made him much more of a better heel this time around. So watching him become the special guest referee and like, listen, I'm not fighting you, Dragon Lee. No, I'm not. But you, Ali, you Mustafa, yeah, we're gonna make sure you have this match so I can whoop your ass again. Because that's the game plan. So to me, the show bridged a lot of gaps, a lot of more going forward. I'm loving the fact that Wesley and Dragunov are going to go up against each other to go up against Marlon Hayes, even though I think that's going to have an interference because Trick Williams is becoming the wild card.
Stop.
I'm starting to just love the evolution of NXT. Starting to get back to the sprinkle of the perfect blend of 2.0 with a little sprinkle of black and white, which is what I enjoy the most.
I agree. I have a question for you guys because I was listening to Wednesday Worldwide and Cal said that Becky Lynch needs to go back to NXT to find who she is again, that she's been all over the place. And that was interesting to me because I never thought about that before. Like I thought Becky was kind of, trugging along. I love that she had a non-title feud. I love that they're utilizing her in that way because we don't need Becky Lynch to be champion all the time. And then her going back to NXT, I think is great for like Tiffany Stratton and also for NXT. How do you guys feel that? Do you feel like Becky Lynch has been kind of lost like lately, or how y'all feel about her run?
I've enjoyed Becky Lynch. I think she just needs fresher storylines. A lot of times they don't have to find themselves; they just need to be put into storylines with good people.
Right.
Like the Trish Stratus storyline was an up and down thing, and that's most storylines. They have their dips and they have their highs, but the way they finished it was absolutely amazing, and it was what we needed from it. And her going to NXT, what is she gonna do? Because y'all gonna hate if you put an actual title picture in the WWE main universe. So put her in NXT, give Shorty a rub, and we also gotta understand that. And I think we're all getting older, and so are these wrestlers.
Yeah. So
Becky Lynch has done everything. She doesn't really need to find herself. Now it's time to put over talent.
Right.
Help. Let's say a title has a bad run. She takes the title back, make it more legitimate, then loses the title. That's her job now at this point.
Right.
Because she's at the tail end of her prime. Even though I don't think wrestlers really have their primes like that, as long as they stay pretty healthy. But she's going towards the second half of where her prime is going to be at. So I don't think she needs to find anything, actually. I think she's good where she's at, but now it's just doing side missions instead of the main mission being the title.
Right. And that's what we always talk about when we're on Fan Club is like, the biggest discussion, especially after that promo with Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair earlier this year, was that do some superstars need the championship in order to define themselves in the career? I don't think that Becky Lynch is one of them. I think that in this run with Trish Stratus, this feud with Trish Stratus kind of proved that to me a little bit more. Like there's certain superstars, like to me, without the title, like what are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? Mostly now that she's going back to NXT, it's kind of like she's on I'm gonna prove why you should respect me, but I also don't give a damn if you do respect me or not. But I'm gonna prove it to you why you should, if that makes any sense. So I'm just like I said, I'm just gonna sit back and watch. I feel like this is not gonna be just a one-off match between the two. I don't think it's gonna end up like Rhea versus Charlotte, where Charlotte ends up with the NXT Women's Championship up on a random. I don't think that's gonna happen, but I do think that Tiffany's gonna get this work. Like she's gonna get a run for her money, and it might be the biggest highlight in her career. I mean, the NXT Championship holds the same weight for the future as a lot of the championships on that roster. So it's going to be interesting to see how she goes toe-to-toe with Becky, because Becky is considered one of the best. And I agree with the prime comment, because what do you do next when you're almost at your prime? You pass the torch to who's ever next, and that next is Tiffany in their eyes.
Unless you're Hulk Hogan.
Oh.
and CM Punk.
Oh.
I plead the
So,
fifth.
Miss Queen PR, what was your favorite show this week?
My favorite show this week, believe it or not, might have been Dynamite. I know that sounds like so insane and crazy, but we watch it while we're streaming on Wednesdays. And I love everything that Toni Storm is doing. Like, I know she wasn't like featured heavily on Dynamite or anything like that, but between like Brian Daniels, like I'm just into like a lot of what AEW has going on right now. And a lot of people don't understand Toni Storm's character, but because being obsessed with like old Hollywood and like the golden age of that and all of the feuds and like all of the drama, Toni Storm is hitting it like right on the head. Like, and it's not even Marilyn Monroe, like it's even like before then, like it's even more like old Hollywood, and it's like if you know, you know. And it's so fun. Like that shit with Renee. Watch out for the shoe. It was so good. I love Saraya as champion. Like I was a huge
I
fan
don't.
of her.
Well, go ahead.
So okay. Well,
My opinion is
let me get my coffee for the coffee talk. But I loved it. So I am into what they're doing right now. You know, yes, Mimi. I really enjoy Dynamite this week.
All right, okay. Let's dig into some negativity.
It's mad early.
You forgot what kind of show we're on, P. We can't kick nobody out the club this time.
Right? Yeah. Oh wait, this is not my show. Okay, my bad.
So first things first. What are you not liking? What did you not like this week on professional wrestling TV and professional wrestling land?
What I didn't like. I'm gonna let you take that, Seindole.
What I didn't like this week, I don't know. I felt like the whole, like, mind you, I watched NXT. I really enjoyed the show. The finals of the match between Von Wagner and Braun Breaker happened, and it's an angle that I'm also interested in because I like people tell you, listen, love Steiner Jr. He's a vanilla ass face. I'm sorry. And I'm allowed to be negative on here. I don't get to say it a lot. He's very vanilla. Like, he's bland. You don't give him a sprinkle or nothing. And now they're finally starting to give him some flavor. You know, they put a little bit of a brownie, you know, clippings in there, some chocolate chips. They gave him some flavor. And he's been doing it good as a heel. So the DQ match would have solidified how he behaves as one. So I already know he's going to go off the rail because he's been showing up and spearing left and right. He even got a shirt that says best spear in the game. And I think that's like foreshadowing because who else has spears? Hello. So this match is kind of going to solidify it. Von Wagner is interesting to me because he's kind of like the regular giant that Vince McMahon would hire. So they're trying to build him up too. So I was enjoying it. So when NXT went black, right? I was like, oh shit, like they going old school. Like niggas was like, where's the Attitude Era? And they were like, oh, okay, sprinkle. Like, here you go. We'll give it to you. So they gave it to us. And then somebody put around that video, like people were like, is he hurt? Is he this, is that? We're finally getting kayfabe, right? Like, is he hurt? They put like WWE, and I give them this credit with social media. They're getting a lot better because they even show Wagner on a stretcher leaving out. That was smart to me. That's smart social media work. But then you had like fans that were there. Of course, everybody uses their camera. I get it. But then they're like, oh, well, I was there and the angle, you know, it looked like he got hit in the head, but then he got up and he was fine. And then, oh, Shawn Michaels shut up. It's like, shut up. Like, shut up. Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't need to know you were there. I don't need to know that you have a Samsung over an iPhone. I don't need to see the video online. I don't need to see any of it. What I needed to see next week is what the after effects was. But now, as Toni Storm would say, it's gone tits up. Like, I'm not as fascinated as I was, and it bothers me because, like I said, I've been waiting for Dom Toretto Breaker to be like one of the best heels on the brand. And it's shit because people are like, now they're throwing him hate. I'm like, what are y'all doing? This is touch grass stuff. Like, just wait for next week to see what happens. So that was like one of the biggest things I ain't like. And it's like NXT to me is like what I watch when I don't like what happened on Raw and I don't make time for SmackDown. So it's in the middle. So I'm just like, why are y'all trying to ruin this too? The way y'all ruin like live shows and stuff. Just leave it alone. Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
Good point. So you really just hated wrestling fans.
This week, yes. I got tired.
So Seindole hated wrestling fans.
They got me tired.
They are the worst.
This week.
Wrestling, I believe that it's worse fans is soccer fans, then wrestling fans, then anybody that's a fan of the Raiders.
Oh.
But
Cowboys.
Queen PR, what did you hate this week in wrestling?
Okay, I'd say hate is a strong word, but it's about Shotzi. And like, you know, when like they were trying to get her over or whatever, I always felt like she moved up to the main roster way too soon. I think she should have been the star of NXT for way longer. And when she, you know, it was kind of bland. Then she does this storyline with Bailey. It can't go wrong doing a storyline with Bailey. They do the whole hair thing. They cut it. And I think that was really like her whole, like the vignette of her cutting her hair. Like, I feel like that was her like going up the fan. Now it's like she's a sympathetic baby face now. She didn't cut her hair for her sister who like has cancer and all that stuff. So now it's like, I feel like that was the moment to sort of build on her. But then they made it seem like they bring Charlotte in, which I think diminished a lot, because then it's just like no one could do shit without Charlotte. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like Shotzi's payoff with Bailey and them should have been done alone, like not necessarily with Charlotte, and it just doesn't make sense. Like, they don't, like, you know, when like back in the day when factions helped each other, like you could kind of see like the 6 degrees of separation. You're like, okay, that's why that might have happened. Why is Charlotte helping Shotzi? Like, okay, she has an issue with damage control, okay, but it just felt very much like, we know Shotzi needs Charlotte to be over, so let's do it. And I think they could have done that so much better as far as like building a star. You know?
Okay.
So I kind of hate it. I kind of hate that whole thing, and like I don't know, it just feels like a mashup to me when they could just.
I get it.
I get
your point of view. I do believe Charlotte is very LeBron-ish.
You think she's LeBron? Because now you think she's LeBron-ish. Like, is it the championship thing, or is it just like I can interfere and do whatever I want and expect greatness type thing? Okay.
I've been the face of the women's division, if you like it or not, for many years, and I have full run of the women's division. She literally wakes up and says, "I want a title shot."
This is true.
I am not mad at using your political abilities to get things done. Because supposedly, I heard that she does help people in backstage getting stuff done too.
Yeah.
So I'm never mad at it when you use with great power comes great responsibility, like Uncle Ben said, and she uses it for herself and sometimes for others. Right. But listen. I've been told I need to be more selfish. So I totally understand Charlotte Way. If you want to be successful, you have to be selfish.
Yeah. 1,000%. 1,000%.
Yeah, true.
I would agree with that. I think her attitude, like Charlotte's attitude, doesn't come off like LeBron. Like, she obviously knows like who she is and what she has to do. But the good thing is like she doesn't really say it, and like her being a face now kind of like helps. But I agree with you, Wilkins. Like, she definitely is a LeBron. And I don't know who the Facebook user that says Charlotte doesn't need to be included in everything, but a triple threat with Io, Asuka, and Charlotte at a PLE would hit.
I mean, it goes to say what I said before. It goes to say what I said before. There's some people that they need something when they don't have the championship, like the championship defies them. So I'm low key talking about Charlotte because my vision is that she tries. Does not do well without that belt, angle-wise. And I don't know whether it's on her. Maybe they like it's one of those things where I feel like when they do too much with a champion, like a lot of people are gonna wonder what the hell is going on now with Gunther now that he's literally surpassed the Honky Tonk Man, which you know, it's the Honky Tonk Man. How many days he had to think about it back in the day versus now? It's like, okay, if they take the title off, and you know, straightforward, either he's going to have great matches or he's going after the world championship. But like, can you define him without a belt now that he's had this belt for so long? And I think that's what kind of happened with Charlotte. Like, where she's at 15 now.
Yeah, I think now, like I
Right.
used to complain a lot, but I think now Charlotte being champion or in the picture or even like forcing herself is kind of a part of her shtick now. Like before it was like, oh gosh, but now it's like, I mean, do we expect any less at this point? Like Becky is doing the right thing. Like Trish coming back, non-title feud, that was meaningful. Might have went on long, but that was a non-title feud that had a big payoff. Like it told the story. No championship was included. Now I feel like Charlotte is kind of like, I think we would, like, fickle wrestling fans would feel away if like she was like a year out of the title picture. We'd be like,
like what's going on? Like, why is she so quiet? And then she pops up out of nowhere and she's like, well, I want in on the belt. And you're like, okay, Charlotte's here. Bet, banger. So it's like, but certain wrestlers don't need that.
A good angle for Charlotte would be, has she tied her father yet?
No, that's the thing.
Not yet.
So get her to tie her father, and then she loses the title, and she spends 2 years chasing to tie her title, but she keeps losing.
But here's the thing: after a while, are they really going to let her keep losing? That's the
it depends on how they do it, and it would be a good way to build the star that she loses to. So it all comes into like the effort they put into the stories.
Okay. I see where you're coming from.
I can see it.
I see it. So let's talk a little bit about your favorite women wrestling moment in this past month.
In the past month?
Yeah, just give us a couple, maybe two.
Okay. I enjoyed Becky and Trish a lot in the steel cage. I love this. I think all the Trisha spots that she did was probably definitely my favorite moment of the month. Saraya becoming champion is up there for sure. I'll save this for later because I want to know what you guys think. But yeah, those would probably have to be my favorite too. All of Toni Storm's interviews have been my favorite. And I like what I can't think of the name. What's the name of the new faction in NXT? With Lash Legend.
Oh, Metaphor.
I am so into them. Like I see them going like super.
They just give this essence of like bad bitches. That's just like, that's what it is. It oozes bad bitches. My two favorite. I'm steadily enjoying Impact. Like I was watching Fraternity at first. But now I'm starting to slowly realize why I was watching TNA and Impact back in the day. And it is the women. Like we were talking about it, like not for nothing, for them to be like in the budget they're in, them some badass bitches. Like they look, they some good looking girls. I've slowly dumped myself back into the Knockouts Tag Team Championships because I like MK Ultra. I'm loving the fact that Killer Kelly and Misha Slamovich are a tag team. It's like a low bit of kink with a little bit of unspectability. So I'm just like enjoying watching that. Hold on to when they became tag team championships at Slammiversary, I was like, oh, I can't wait to see how this is gonna go. Like, who's gonna best them? Because Misha, you already know, like this girl. If you see her on the indie circuit, she can take a chop from a heavy man, and then you got Killer Kelly, who's very strategic. So I enjoy watching those two kind of take the reign, and it's almost like they're trying to find people to fight them, which is why they also they're building, if you can't tell, Giselle Shaw and Savannah Evans as a good tag team, because that I feel like is going to be the wild card in this division also. So I enjoy watching that, and also the trendy stuff. Like I want to see who's next. Like there's so many great women, like we said, when she got onto the roster that she can fight. And so Alyssa Edwards angle is also like unexpected because slowly, if you've been watching Alyssa Edwards, she's like, listen, I got the means. I need to stop playing nice. I need to start playing the game. And she's playing the game. Her husband's at her back. And the fact that she was able to obtain this number one contendership, the whole thing is funny. So I'm just like, I want to see where it's going to go. I'm very excited to watch the match. I was just like, this is interesting. Like they're building storylines here. I don't know if what has to do with Trinity, but they've always been good with storylines. But again, because it's Impact, a lot of people don't like to give it the credit where it's due. But they're very good at building their storylines. Even with their owner fighting Bubba Ray Dudley, that was interesting. But look at how it was built. So I'm interested to see where it's gonna go. I'm particularly enjoying Impact.
Now Impact is doing their thing. I like this gonna sound messed up. Eddie Edwards putting her through the table.
Yeah, that
because that's
I
what
enjoyed seeing that because it was very wild attitude era. I was like, oh, you gonna put her through the table?
But think of how she would have wanted that. Like it's still in the cliche. They don't like to say that, oh, we don't want men bumping with women. But low key, when they're in WWE, you could see they still don't want most women bumping with men, even though they allow a sprinkle of it here and there. But she finally got that taste back on Impact. So it was refreshing to see. It's like, okay, finally, we're not shying away from, oh, women just playing in women's roles. Like, no. The men can get involved too. She was like, "Don't let me call Jim on social media," and I was like, "Yes, you tell them if you don't want Jimmy to pull up, okay?"
Well, you know what's crazy is that in a real life situation, if somebody was really beating up on your girl or talking shit, and you wouldn't. But then it was like, oh man, let me get her off of here. But even if you want to play a real villain moment and really set the tone of like, yo, we're the heels here.
Yeah.
The table.
That was And Trinity also looked like she's having a lot of fun too, and we get to see her mix it up with people. We would never see Trinity in intergender matches ever. Probably if she, so it's so refreshing to see her Impact actually taking a bump like that.
Well, Impact is the third little cousin that doesn't leave you the hell alone. Like it's just there and it's never gonna die.
He's like, we're staying here, we're having fun. And you're like, ugh, like go get us some water or something. But you need it there. Like you need it there.
And whatever budget they had, they paid half of it on Trinity.
Yeah, they're like, we're gonna get you. Yeah,
because listen, there's Diane Champ in her wigs. I know it ain't cheap. Because trust me, I know a thing or two about wigs, and it's costly. So I know whoever's doing the dye job on them, her and Mercedes, I know it ain't cheap. So
when do you think Mercedes? Do you think Mercedes is gonna pop up in AEW?
It would have to be. I was like, my initial reaction is to say no, but I think it would have to be like on one of their like supercars, like something with Japan. Like I don't see her popping up on like a random Dynamite. Like I think it would have to be something very much worth her while, and also like Tony Khan, like it has to be something really big.
Listen, they just let go of one of their biggest money makers, so they got the money. I can see her walking in there and be like, I walk in here.
She does have the same star power.
Well, their biggest merch maker.
Oh God!
Now the biggest merch maker apparently isn't even him. Now that you do the deep dive, but she's like, I know y'all got bread because y'all paid him and he fucked that up. Cut me a check and she'll show up.
Jade is not on Sasha's level.
It wouldn't even be Jade. I don't even think it would be Jade. I think it would be a hint of, I think it would definitely be Breaker, but a hint of people that she's already familiar with, which I know most people won't want to see, but then that would also lead the lines of, I could see her, if Sky Blue gets developed enough, if Willow's definitely, well, she's already been with Willow, so I could see that happening on an episode of like Dynamite or Collision, let's say. Even that, I feel like if she was like, listen, you got this show called Collision, I could work a Saturday. Let's work it out. I could see her definitely be in AEW.
Wow.
But you know what's interesting though?
She has to want to be a big draw to a show. Huh?
I don't know why CM Punk will mess that up. You work one day a week. And you get paid millions of dollars.
But you know what it is? But after a while, working one day a week isn't gonna cut it. I think he was trying to kind of get out of that like trying to meet with the elite and trying to interfere in what Jack Perry had going on and trying to be too involved. And niggas was looking at him like, nigga, I didn't ask you. So then he's also the type of person that's like, oh, you didn't ask me, that offends me that you didn't ask me. So I think that whole thing, like, if you get it, like, people that are always like, I was just trying to be nice, and they have an attitude with it, that's what I feel like it gave. So maybe that's where the discourse was, and he felt like he had to choke people out and then rough up Tony. I don't know what happened. We don't know what happened. I'm not the fly on the wall. Somebody just needs to drop like a Beyonce and Jay-Z in the elevator camera footage so we can get this whole thing cleared up. But until then, we don't know. We just don't know.
Listen. That man messed up a bag. I don't care what nobody says. It was easily millions of dollars. What's going on with your camera? 45 seconds.
Oh, shit. Thank you for letting me know.
See, I know got the fancy stuff on. Yeah. But anyways, he just messed up. Like, imagine working 1 day a week and then twice sometimes, and you get paid millions of dollars.
And one pay-per-view when they need you.
That you're on is your show.
Yeah.
You get to do what you want.
Wild. Like, how problematic do you have to be to not even fucking make that work?
And it's not even problem. And you know what's crazy? Aside from the problematic point, like, dude, they could have fired you the first time because you fought like the EVPs of your own company. Like, the people that are a part of bringing you on, that were excited to bring you on, you fought them. Like, they could have easily fired you, but they had to put their ego aside and say, all right, this motherfucker's got to show up to work. So, Tony, you figure it out because we done. Like, we watch, the hands are clean. So they give you a solution and you still mess up. Like,
I still think they're at fault as well.
I think they're very immature in not being business-wise, but I also think their egos were bruised. Like, their egos bruised. Like, I gave you a hand, I gave you like gold, and you took the gold and you bit me. Like, so I think they're still bruised. And are they justified in feeling that way? Yeah. Could they get over it? Yes. But
I think there's a lot more to the story, and I think the elite have somewhat to blame. But enough about an angry man. What are your thoughts on the current status of women's wrestling right now? Queen PR, you can go first.
Yeah, sorry, I just came in. My Wi-Fi was doing some dumb shit. So we were talking offline, and you mentioned some people feel like there's like a decline, like on the American side, and I think we're in a good place because you have, and I'm gonna keep bringing up Trish Stratus because I'm like obsessed with her right now, but I think that right there is a great like example of how things are kind of moving forward, because we've never had a wrestling legend come back and actually like be on the road, have matches, like have a non-title feud. Like, they bring Edge back for whatever reason a million times, all of these like older, like Rey Mysterio's a champion, like, so it's like, how come when no women have come back and been looked at as that? It's always just like it's always something on her age of like, oh, she still got it, or she never lost it. And it's like, I don't never say that. That's never the narrative around men that come back or whatever. That's like in their 40s, let's say.
Right.
But with Trish, she actually came back and did that, to where new generations like are now like, okay, wow, she's like really good and she can keep up with them. So I feel like that alone, for me, of course, being someone that focuses mostly on WWE, I think that shows that things are moving forward. I think Becky going to NXT, all of that, her Tiffany Stratton being like on Raw, like that kind of stuff, I think they're doing very well at. You got Rhea Ripley, who is being put on like China's level to a certain extent, like mixing it up with the guys. That's huge. Telling stories in the ring. Impact. Enough said. Women, the Knockouts division. Enough said. So I went in AEW. You know how that goes. But I think there is like an effort, because there is sort of this like fever in the industry right now where it's just like everybody got to do something. Everybody got to do something. Mercedes being on the market definitely put a rocket ship on women's wrestling as a whole. So I would say right now, I think it's moving forward. Like it's always 10 steps ahead. Wait, what is it? 5 steps ahead, 10 steps back. But I feel like we're not taking as many steps back right now. So I would say the status of it is great.
I also think it's in a really good place structure wise. the appreciation for it, I feel like, is what's on the decline. Like, I feel like a lot of people were on this natural high after Evolution of like, okay, WWE has women, and they're like, okay, but I'm also going to get tired of them, so where else can I see them? And then you had Impact slowly building back their Knockouts division. You had AEW just coming into the fold. So I feel like it's the fans who have to get back into it. I feel like they're doing a great job. I feel like Stardom's doing a great job. I feel like Mercedes Moné, obviously, people followed her where she was going. There, I'm done. See, that's the comment, Dylan. There's a contract right there. Pay attention to it. So, I feel like her slowly being involved in New Japan Pro Wrestling, I feel like that put the battery back at everybody's back. I think now it's just that people are going to expect more. Like, you have a promotion that's about to premiere here in New York, and it's a Japanese wrestling promotion. And I think that's what people need more of, is that they just want more. Like people are going to indie shows to see women wrestling. It's not like you don't have options. I think that is just the effect of people want more. There's nothing more I can really put into it. It's just that, like, you're always gonna want, like, every time that John Cena loses the belt, you're like, all right, what else can he do? Like, can he do more out of the 5 moves of doom? But you're always expecting more out of him, right? I think that us as a fandom, we just always expect more out of these things, and women's wrestling is in that stage of it. Like, what else can be done?
Right.
All right. I love the intensity on that. You mentioned indie wrestling. Do you guys have any favorite independent female wrestlers?
Well, she's signed to AEW now, but I love watching Willow Nightingale's trajectory over the years. Like, I saw her a lot at Battle Club Pro, and to see her now doing what she's doing, like, it's an amazing thing. I don't have a favorite. Maybe Karen Bam Bam comes to mind. I want to say Slamovich. She was really good. She like subbed in a match or a random indie show I went to, and she was like a surprise guest, and she was really really good. Oh, hey Krista. Yeah, that's we love her. I also went to another show where Faye was managing, and then also just the pops that she gets when she comes out is so endearing. And also, when you're friends with someone, you're just like, oh my god, we all love her too, yay! But that girl has so much star power. It's crazy to think about. But right now, everyone's doing their thing out there. Oh, Gia Scott, yeah. How could?
Yeah, Gia Scott's mine. Like, Gia Scott's mine. I love watching her. Love Trish Adora. Like, with the first ever Jobber, I didn't get onto Trish Adora that much until after the first Jobber Slam. Shout out to Jobber Slam. I didn't really pay attention to her until after that. I was like, she's really good. Like, strategic wise against the men. I like the fact that it's intergender when I go see these indie shows. So I really been onto her before she got mainstream too. I was also really into Misha Slamovich because, again, contribute that to Jobber Slam. A lot of these wrestlers that are indie that I didn't know until Jobber Slam, I'm very pro to watching now. Very much.
I would never wrestle a woman.
Why?
It doesn't make sense storyline wise.
What do you mean?
I'm not doing it. I'll talk about it here. We'll talk about it here. I'm just not doing it.
So you don't believe? So you're not one of those, like, you don't champion intergender wrestling at all?
Yeah, unless it makes sense.
Okay, so what makes sense for you? Like China, like you thinking more in that realm?
Yeah, it has to make sense, because at the end of the day, when we look at like actual real wrestling, like real sports, they never mix. And a ton of WNBA players have said, if I played in the NBA, I'd get my ass bust.
I've heard that.
And I get it. Now, on the level that, like, I would have fight Ronda Rousey, for instance, in an actual MMA match, Ronda Rousey would whip my ass. Because I'm not on the level of Ronda Rousey. On physical level. Now, you put somebody that's on Ronda Rousey's level on when it comes to MMA, 9 out of 10 that person would win. So I've done it. I've done it before one time, but we made the match make sense. It has to make sense. Somebody said, my little cousin is in the 4th grade, is a freestyle wrestler. She wins tournaments with boys all the time. Now, I'm going to push back against that. It's a great point. 4th grade, everybody's on the same level physically. And low-key, the chicks are stronger.
But I feel like that doesn't take into account skill, which is like but not in this instance, but like I hate the general statement where women's skills will never match up to men physically, period. You know what I mean?
never said skills and physicality, 2 different things. So in my opinion, I think they're 2 different things. Because on a skill level, Ronda Rousey would whoop my ass.
Right.
And now if it's on a physical level, like we had to move some weight, 9 out of 10 times I might be stronger than her.
I can see where Wilkins is coming from, because it really does boil down to that. Like, strength and skill are 2 different things. Together they're great, but like skill wise, most women have it down packed. I personally ain't fighting no man, because one side of me is, if he's bigger than me, my ass getting kicked. If he's dumber than me, I'm gonna win the fight. That's always my analogy.
I'll even give another example. I have a trainer, breaking kayfabe. I have a trainer that I work with. She's part of my she's on my team, and boxing wise, she would kill me. Like no, because he teaches me how to box. He would kill me. But if I try to grab her and hold her down, I am winning.
Because you're a stronger man.
I'm a stronger person. But at the same time, we have to think, because all right, I love what the Wrestling Realm said this one. He said, and this is why I want to talk to you guys about it, have these conversations, because intergender wrestling is a thing. He said, good point, Wilkins, but to make another pushback, my former therapist said she beat a lot of guys in high school wrestling. And it goes back to Seindole's thing, the skill level.
Right.
Because I think, who's an example of that? Edge's wife.
Beth Phoenix?
Beth Phoenix used to be on a women's wrestling team. And she bodied the game. So there is levels to that, and there's always an exception to the rule. I don't want to say it's impossible.
Right. I feel like in 2023, I don't think that should be, like, let's say, the rule, because of the simple fact that now, like, the 4th grader that's now on the wrestling team, just the amount of women that are now just interested in sports now has literally like skyrocketed as well. So that might be like the quote unquote rule now, but I feel like in like 10, 15 years, when like all the women that are growing up in this society are being trained kind of like men, like let's talk about WWE. They started getting trained the same way as men, because at one point that they weren't, for whatever reason. So I think that rule is going to change. I feel like there's going to be WNBA players that's going to be like, yeah, I can absolutely handle myself on this court. I can absolutely do this. You know, Beth Phoenix is one of those examples. She was an exception, but I feel like there are more Beth Phoenixes out there in the world than not, and that's only going to like grow.
Okay. All right. All right. What do you think, Seindole? Talk a little bit more about your thoughts on it.
I just feel like I morally agree with you, but when it comes down to like wanting to watch like skilled wrestling, I think intergender needs to happen, because after a while we get it. Like, some guys are big, some guys are strong, some women are strong, some women are, but it's all about skill. I'm very big on like technical wrestling, because I want to see who's besting who at skill, which is why I was like, when the whole with Becky and Charlotte, I always liked watching the both of them, because in my opinion, besides agility, they're both very skilled women, both of them. always enjoyed watching them. And then the same thing with Bianca Belair starting to slowly come into her own. I've enjoyed her because she has skill. So when it comes to the skill aspect of it, yes, you need it, because big beefy men slapping meat, which seems to be a trend again this week, can only happen so many times. But after a while, we're going to get tired of it again. And what are you left with? People besting each other out of skill. And I think the only way for in this world where women are not taken enough seriously still, after everything we've done, the only way they can best themselves and prove in skill is to fight men or to wrestle with men.
And
so to speak on that a little bit more, just because I think it would be good. If it's done correctly, I fuck with it.
Right.
It has to make sense in some type of way of how you tell the story within it.
Right.
I'm not a big fan of it, but in some ways, I think if it makes sense, it makes sense. Now, Stephanie Hardy mentioned that in tennis, there was a match that happened and the woman won. And all the top players in tennis have said that Serena is the best, hands down. Like the best tennis player in the world.
In the world, yeah.
Like, I remember I was listening to this podcast and they were talking about tennis. They were talking about tennis. It kind of went off subject. They were talking about tennis, and he's a huge tennis fan. And he said, "Nah, she's probably better than 99% of men." And I think that's one of the things that those are the exceptions to the rule. Those are some things. I think that's what it is. And I think, and I'll go with you, Queen PR. Maybe if more women did start competing, we'll see a higher percentage of those exceptions to the rule pick up. I still think the bare basics of one-on-one, the guy's a little bit more. But I don't want to take away and say that, women can't, it's impossible.
Right.
Because that's stupid to say.
Right. Yeah, and that was my only thing is I hate like the blanket statement of like women. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that I will always like push back on when it comes to like women being able to be on the same like level as men. Because agree, like that it's fucking biology. Men are stronger. You know what I mean? Like that's like I'm not an idiot. And I also understand why WWE would never have intergender matches because there's no way to keep that up. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't keep that up and be. So I get it. I get that part of it.
Right.
But
the only way I see WWE doing it, if it's in a storyline, like
one-off.
Like a one-off thing where a wrestler, maybe they even do like a female wrestler like, yo, I'm the best ever. And you can never beat me, male or female, whatever. A guy steps up because like Billie Jean King versus Bobby Riggs. Mm-hmm. Billie Jean King won. Billie Jean King was on another level, and when I heard Bobby Riggs wasn't even that great.
Right, that was a fucking wrestling.
You go against right? Billie Jean King,
all like about making money.
Literally,
that was fucking sports entertainment,
bro.
right
Seriously.
and like even somebody like Masha, who's like super skilled, because I've seen Masha wrestle
physical.
Like, dude.
I think she can probably out wrestle the average male wrestler, like on some real wrestling type of shit. Because she's a child prodigy. She wrestled since she was like 8.
Oh wow!
Whoa.
Yeah, like that's the one thing people don't know about Masha is like she's like a child prodigy. Because remember, she's under 30.
I know that.
Right.
I think she's like 23 or something, 25, maybe
she's
the
young.
most.
She's young.
Insane.
So like helped promote gender equality in tennis. So that stuff like that, like I'm not mad at that. Somebody said eventually even the intergender matches would lose their shine like anything else.
That's the thing because that's perfect, Vaughn, because again it busts down to skill. Like how many people with skill can go up against each other. It's like I said, you can have random matches of women and men. It's not going to work. It's gonna be like, what the hell are we watching? But if you put two skilled people together, that's what's gonna pique people's interest, right. And that's what piques people's interest about it.
Yeah, I just debated our. Oh, I know who you debated with. I teacher the other day. Masha can fight all the men on the she wants because she deliberately whooped these N words. So that's what makes sense if the math looks good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, let's say Masha and me were to wrestle. I'm bigger than her, taller than her, all this other stuff. If she does the match where a way that she's just using her skill level to outwit me and just make me look stupid, then that shit works.
Right.
But
Right.
I'm not expecting Masha to go blow for blow with me.
Right. It has to definitely be done right.
I'll give you an example. Remember Xena, the warrior princess?
Yes. Oh my God. I religiously used to watch that show every Saturday afternoon. I remember.
Now, remember how she used to fight the dudes?
Yes.
It wasn't brute strength. It was skill and speed.
Yep. It happened so fast. It was like, wait, what?
Fast. Like,
no, for sure.
Like, it makes sense.
For sure.
Like, these niggas they wanted to do like fights like blow for blow with chicks. No, I'm not going blow for blow with a woman. It doesn't look like a domestic violence thing.
no, Wrestling Realm is me with that comment. I low key.
Oh, me too. I thought that was
China was Xena were the same person. Oh my God. Talk about a throwback. I literally thought they were the same person. I thought China would pop. No, China never popped up on an episode of Xena Warrior Princess, but I thought it would for sure happen. Like, I would have loved that type of crossover. That would have been dope. Or on the other show, what was the other show that was like the prequel or the sequel to it with the guy?
Hercules.
I thought for sure she'd end up on that show, but never happens.
I went on a deep dive one day on YouTube on like the lesbian relationship between Xena and Gabrielle.
What?
Yeah.
There's a whole YouTube series on Xena and Gabrielle's lesbian relationship and how they pointed it out. The shit was wild because as kids, we didn't realize it was two lesbians in a whole ass relationship.
I like the show more because of
Because now I'm gonna be on that deep dive. So I appreciate you telling me
that.
that.
If you look back, let's think about it. It's two. They made out one time on the show.
Wow. Yeah. It's supposed to be like subtle.
Yes.
But
they were together.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They were together. And that I'm telling you, if you watch this deep dive, it's like a 3-part series.
Wow.
I need to watch it. Yo, deep dives?
Like different lines of what they were doing. Like she was just like, there was one time Xena almost died. No, Gabrielle almost died. Xena was like, you're the person in my life.
It's real. Yeah.
It was crazy. But it was like, but then when you look back at it, take a look back, you take a step back, two women traveling the world together, getting money, beating up on men. This is obviously a lesbian relationship.
A lesbian love story.
Because I never met a broke lesbian, first of all.
Listen.
What?
Listen.
You said you never met a broke lesbian?
Nah, lesbians get money, boy. Lesbians get money, son.
Listen.
Even on TV, they have like high-powered jobs.
Yes, they get money.
No, I was just about to. You took the words right out of my mouth, P. I was like, I never met a low-powered lesbian before. Like, I have bought like shout out to one of the people that work in my corporate because like every time she works
ain't nobody coming to Baltimore.
But like every time she comes in, she's power suit. She tells me her pants come from Hugo Boss because they don't make alterations right everywhere else. And I'm just looking at her. I'm like, I want to like if damn, like I'm attracted to you, and I'm not even like I never met a low-powered lesbian before. I'm just saying they all have high-powered jobs, but they all own a business. I'm dead, and I agree. I'm sorry.
Now I remember when I used to work in nightlife. I used to intern for a nightlife company, and there was this one girl that used to throw lesbian parties. Bruh, the bar used to be off the hook. That's how much money I've seen.
I can
That's
only imagine.
I
Yep.
can
In
only
Brooklyn.
imagine.
Yep. You're right.
The
Black men.
Brooklyn, what? No, that's where they go to play. That's like that's where they go to play. But like in the like if you're ever in an environment, one time I went to a social networking event and it was like a LGBTQ sponsor. But yo, when I tell you, and they're very like they're very confident in themselves. They're like, oh, you're not into women, you will be, and you just looking at like, you know what, maybe I will be. But it's like also when you listen to them motivate you, you like, damn, they're the best motivational speakers too. I put that on the map.
Bro, I'm not bringing my girl around a mega dyke lesbian. Son.
It's not even. It's not even that.
No, I'm not bringing my shorty around lesbian because it's gonna leave me. Because they know what a woman wants. They know what they need.
Not people saying where to find the broke
They know how to talk. They know how to talk, bro. I'm telling you, if you ever
they know how to talk. They
very
sweat.
charming.
They get money. Like, oh, I can't compete with this. You got this. I'm walking away from this. You got my girl. I'm done.
They are hot.
You see it right here?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm trying to tell you.
There was one I used to work with. I worked with. I understand. I get it. It was her first week working with me, and she was sleeping with the hottest manager that we had.
Not surprised.
Within a week.
Not shocked. She probably talked a good game. I'm telling you.
Talk fire game.
It's skill. There we go.
Skill over power.
Skill. There you go. Because you don't go playing a match without a game plan unless you like just reliant on your physicality, and it's all skill. You like, all right, you see a beefy guy and a hot girl, and you're like, I want that girl. How I'm gonna get her? I know exactly. You formulate the plan.
I've said this before. Men are trucks. Women are nice sports cars. Pick what you want.
It's all in the mechanics, okay?
Yep.
Yes, this is crazy. This is crazy.
So
we talked about lesbians, AGs. This is real women.
Wow, I haven't heard AG in a long time.
What?
But I'll
AG,
send you.
Oh my god!
I'll send you the link to the lesbian episodes.
Please do, because I have today's laundry day, so please do. Let me sitting there like.
Bro, it's ended up in this deep dive, but I don't know how I got there. But it was 2 a.m. and I'm watching clips of how Xena was a lesbian.
I want to watch it.
And I was like, yo, this is crazy. But if you look back at it, Xena was a whole ass lesbian with Gabrielle running the world.
Mm-hmm.
And they were getting money.
Goals.
Hashtag
goals.
What are some other deep dives? Because what was the deep dive that I was on? The biggest deep dive I think I've ever been on was about I can't remember the name of y'all answer because it's gonna come to me. I have to look it up because I like as a full my YouTube, like when I'm trying to edit, it's like full blown deep dives because I'll be like reading into shit. No, it was about all the myths of Disney and like all the racial undertones, but then there's also an undertone that like the founder of Disney hated Jews, but he was like an all-around fascist all around. So I went down every single hole of the fascist things he would put in movies. And
yeah, he was horrible.
And there's some that are obvious, but then there's some when you watch it, like those Cats and Aristocrats, and I used to love that movie. That is some offensive ass shit.
Not surprised.
I was like, wait, what?
Anything prior to like 2016 is offensive.
It's not racist. Like it's crazy because people talk about how we live in a very sensitive world.
Yes.
But when you look back, the world was mad OD racist.
Wild.
And sexist too. It's
racist,
it's almost
sexist,
unbelievable.
Homophobic, all of that.
So did y'all watch the game?
Before I get canceled in like a week or two,
you're already canceled.
We done.
My bad. Sorry, I didn't mean to say dyke. I apologize to all my lesbian friends out there. So because I heard myself say I had to correct myself. My bad, guys. My bad.
Still love y'all though.
Still love you. We still
I want to learn this skill, so.
I love lesbians. They're great people. They're fun to hang out with. Listen, but like I said, it was wild times before a certain time. I know we're sensitive now.
Right. But some stuff was wild. That was okay. Like,
Pat, you were going to bring up something you were watching. You were going to bring up something. So I feel like you're also, P.
No, because I started watching The Game. I don't know if y'all watched that show.
Yeah,
I did. Yeah.
Yes, I started rewatching that, and I'm watching it for the first time since it came out. And it debuted in 2006. And some of like the sexism, the storylines, like I'm just like, how is this okay? There's an episode where they're all talking about penis sizes. And there's an Asian guy that's just like, well, don't look at me. I'm Asian, and the wokeness of 2023. I cringed. I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe he just said that. But like, that could have never had. That whole episode probably could have never happened now because like some white guy like pulled out his dick to prove how big it was, like in a work setting. And I was just like, yo, this could have never been an episode now. Like, how was all of this okay?
But think about the fact that The Game is actually written. Two of the producers are people that worked in the NFL. So
I mean,
yeah, two of the one showrunner the last year of The Game when it went like with Blue with the guy from Insecure. He used to work in the NFL. So I can only imagine like the shit he was like, listen, this used to happen. There are whistleblowers. Like, for example, you're talking about that. I remember I'm watching Jersey Shore and I'm realizing that like, yo, the shit they were saying about women, borderline gross, but back in the day, totally acceptable. Totally. Like you said it, you thought it was funny. But like now, like even the whole like grenade thing, like I was like, those girls weren't even ugly. Like, why are they calling them like you talking about like
Kim Parker was not fat.
She wasn't.
She was gorgeous.
She was cute though. She was cute.
It was a rough time, but it was a rough time, man. It was a rough time.
Oh, I gotta try Ballers. I haven't watched Ballers, AJ.
Ballers is one. Oh, you're gonna be totally offended if you watch The Game. You're gonna be totally offended by Ballers, but a lot of it, again, is stuff that's like accurate, so you can't be mad.
With The Rock,
Steph knows what I'm talking about.
No, Ballers was wild.
Ballers was wild. Especially
like the first 2-3 seasons was wild.
The white guy,
like I'll enjoy it.
You'll enjoy it, but it's some parts are like, oh,
all right.
Yeah, that show's out of pocket. And then another show that I watched that I thought was out of pocket, Entourage. The shit that, and I was like, first of all,
I love that show, but first
of all, Homeboy ain't even that attractive to be getting that many bitches. He was just a movie star. But like the shit that Ari Gold was saying first 2 seasons, I was like, how is he allowed to say half this stuff? But then I remember it's HBO, so
My boy was talking about. He was just like. He's a model, and he was like, you gotta understand, Wilkins, half of these people that are in like famous, if they weren't famous, they would be an average Joe not getting women.
Right. Right. And it's like he wore this raggedy ass shirt to every meeting. Like, first of all, you go into a meeting with your Asian with the same shirt you wore Monday on a Tuesday. Like, what are you doing? Right. And then he bags a random bitch. Like one episode, he was like, the girl from Gossip Girl was like a pop star, so he was going out with her, and he wore the same shirt to go have coffee with her that he met her at the party. And I'm like, how are you bagging a woman? Like, but then again, you're a movie star,
right?
Yeah, you can't. You can do whatever. Like,
he was Aquaman.
Like, listen, Jonah Hill.
Oh my god,
should not be pulling what he's pulling.
Pete Davidson.
Artistic. And he's a movie star.
Talking about I require for you to dress a certain way. Like, bro, you just lost weight. No offense. Like, calm down.
But he can say that because he's a movie star.
Calm down. No offense to anybody trying out there, but I'm just saying. Yeah. Shows back in the 90s and early 2000s was a wild time, man. Like, wild. Like, even wrestling, like Do-Rag Vince saying that.
Oh my god!
Just pulled up on the internet John Moxley at a CZW show dropping the M-bomb, and people are like, "Wait, when did this happen?" And it was like, I'm like, "Y'all, it's on like Title Mania TV. What are you talking about? When did this
What
happen?"
did he say?
he was like in a promo. I can't remember. His match wasn't with Homicide. It was with somebody else. And like he was about to get attacked, and he had this long speech. I'm gonna send you the link. And he just dropped the N-word. And I was just like,
No,
I was thinking, like, wait, what?
Say it ain't so.
And it was live. Like it wasn't like he tried to bleep it. Like he full on had a mic in his hand, dropping the N-bomb. And I was just like
ER.
No, like Bookers, what up, my nigga? Like that type of thing. And it's just like, but then again, I think of the environment he was in, the people he was wrestling. So I'm like, damn.
Gosh.
I'm like, damn.
This one Kevin Owens said the N-word.
A lot of people have said the N-word. Like it's one of those things that is like hard because people are like, oh, it's a hard R versus an NA, and I'm like, dude, it's all the same word. Like, dude. It's all the same word.
You know what it is for me? This is just me being me. A lot of these guys don't like black people.
I mean,
and
I'm wrong.
And I'm not saying Moxley's one of them. I'm not saying Kevin is one of them. Kevin's Canadian, so they're like neutral people, so I don't really consider them that. But I'm not saying Moxley too, but like in the wrestling space, we talked about the sexism, but there's also heavy racism in wrestling space.
Oh yeah.
And I remember there was an article that came out that Devon was talking about how he didn't talk to a certain higher up because they hated him because he was black. And he said, I'm not saying the person's name, but he wasn't a good person and he was adamantly racist. And I was like, damn.
Who y'all think he's talking about?
I think it's Michael Hayes.
Me too. For some reason, that's the first person that came to my head.
Absolutely. I was going to say that. It was between him and Bill, what's his name? The one that got fired for being inappropriate. It's between the two of them. But I absolutely agree.
And supposedly Michael Hayes ain't that bad anymore. Because I remember speaking to Kaz, and he said that when he got there, Michael was one of the first people to shake his hand and give him a warm welcome. So maybe he's changed over the years. Maybe he realized that black people are here to stay.
I got to deal with the shit type of thing.
It's like, I think sometimes they're like, oh, it's a fad. Oh, we got some Negroes here. They're gonna be here for that long. They're gonna be out of here. Then 5 years go by, 10 years go by, 20 years go by. Oh shit! Well, they're here to stay. And good point, Stephanie. Michael Hayes used to walk around with a Confederate flag.
Wow. Damn, I really forgot about that because I try and push him so far back in my. Yes, thank you. I know I'm not crazy. It's definitely him because remember that
he was wild. Racism was the least of his issues.
The whole complaint with him being an NXT was that he was spewing out racial shit to them, sexist and racial.
What did he do? Exactly. What did he say?
Bill DeMott?
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what he said, but like he got accused of emotional, physical abuse by the trainees. He was talking to them crazy, making them haze each other wildly and shit like that. I don't remember. I don't have any quotes, but
he was basically running frat bro culture down there.
This made it to the Washington Post.
Yeah.
It was kind of wild at the time.
It was wild. It was a lot. It's like a what do they call it? A manifesto of like all the things. Like it's literally like white bro cold frat culture that he was trying to do down there. Along with like making the women feel super uncomfortable with certain comments. Like P knows I was open about this, about like there's still that type of like fad of like they want women to look a certain way, and Athena confirmed it, but it also now clicked in my mind because around the time that Bill was getting accused of this stuff, Athena was down at NXT. So when I put I'm like, it has to be true. And a lot of people were saying, I think there's a Reddit of AJ Lee's book, and somebody put in the comments where she was talking about like a producer had pulled her aside and told her like, listen, you're great in the ring, you're this and you're that, but no one wants to have sex with you. So until we figure out that, we can't do much with you. And everybody was like, oh, that has to be Michael Hayes 10 toes down.
Also, he must be blind because who the fuck does not find sex appealing AJ Lee?
Dude,
He
her
was like
pictures,
the sexy,
her
like
latest pictures, that's that shit that's gonna make me go over to like, you know what? I might just
forget.
If you ever told me to bring my ass over here, my ass is coming. I'm sorry.
I don't understand like how. I don't think they see certain things. They see old school pinups.
These are people that are attracted to Sunny. And
yeah,
Sunny
that's what I'm saying.
Back in the day,
even though Sunny's not that bad,
right?
I don't think she was that hot, but that's a different conversation.
Me neither. Sorry, I don't.
But
respectfully appreciated everything she did for women. Also, don't see the appeal in her. Stable more than my appeal in Sunny.
Yeah. I think people just know the wild shit that went down. Like she was like sucking dick for soma pills and shit.
Wow.
So like, wow. Yeah, no.
Wow. That's a deep dive you need to go down because it's like
office hot. That's a perfect way to describe it. Sunny was office hot.
It says Sunny was office hot.
That's a corporate term for somebody who's like not that attractive, but they can get by with a 50% of attractiveness and a 50% of like willingness in order to get by corporately. So I know that term. I can't believe you brought it up here, P. But I know exactly what you're talking about because I also know who's somebody who's office hot. So I'm just like, oh god.
Office hot be hitting. I know.
We know it be hitting. It be hitting for specific reasons because that's the.
So office hot be. Listen. Office hot is delicious.
Stable was more my speed. Stable was more like that's woman. You know what I mean? So to me, it's just like the stuff that they were saying to women, the stuff they were doing to the other trainees. It was like, how did they like? A lot of them were quitting too. I'm like, how do they put down like? I had a friend who I know, like I said, I always talk about. I know somebody that used to wrestle NXT, and him and I talk about it. He was like, it was a good place to learn, but it was just like a trash environment. He was like, I bet you it's better now, but it was just like a trash environment when I was there. So, yeah,
it's times have changed.
Yeah,
times have changed for the better. Like I always said, and it's not the same thing because people are like, oh, people are sensitive. I was like, listen, there was a time when people were calling black people colored folks. And we had to change it. And there was probably a ton of people who were tiny that you had to call black people and not niggers and Negroes. So listen, we got to change some things up. You know, there's... And if you wake up one day and say you're a female and you were born a man, I don't care. That's what you want to be called.
Yeah, no, listen.
I'm okay with this. It doesn't affect me.
Right.
We gotta change things that is different, and things have changed for the better. We're respecting women better, and you know sometimes people are a little sensitive, but at the same time, people are entitled to be sensitive.
Right. That's how I feel. That's how I see it. Like,
yeah, 58 seconds. Yeah, no.
Do I really? It'd be the death of me. Thank you for being my timekeeper. But it's just like everything of something's always gonna offend somebody. So at this point, I'm like, either you put up with it or you don't, and you don't watch and you don't care. Like I particularly don't understand. Like, and I got back and somebody like came at me about it. Like I don't get Vince Russo's white savior complex. Like, I feel like I get it. I understood that you were like, you're still upset.
About his new
they never gave Booker T a chance in WCW. We get it. But, like, you're not the person I want to hear it from. I'm sorry.
Hold on. What white savior complex?
Because remember when he...
Before we go.
Huh?
Let's deep dive before we get out of here.
Because it's like, it's okay if you want to help us, like, understand racial tension and all that stuff. But there's comes to a point where it's crossed over between I want to help you, but look at me, I'm not racist, so please pick me so I don't seem like I'm blending in with all the stuff that's going on. So that's what he gives me. He gives me very much like I used to know a lot of stuff that went on that was offensive, but like I'm gonna do A, B, C, D, E, F, G so that I show that I wasn't really with it, but you also didn't speak up that much. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So you trying to do it now does absolutely nothing for me because you should have did it back then. Like you didn't quit because you spoke up for Booker T. You quit because they didn't listen to you. And you quit because they didn't listen to you. Let's be real honest here. Nothing to do with anybody's race. Same thing with WWE. You didn't quit because they weren't giving enough black ICW champions at the time, which is what you said. You quit because they didn't want you to go home and spend time with your family. That's why you quit. So, like, pick a lane here is what I'm trying to get at.
Wait, did y'all hear about his new podcast that he's doing?
That's what I'm talking about. And that's what I'm talking about.
But who, like,
no
like,
one cares.
who are you? Like,
Yeah.
who is it? Like, what?
It's called Black and White or something?
No, it's legit called Black and White.
It's legit called Black and
White. So that white and black people can talk about white and black issues.
And I don't need that from you.
That's what he said. I'm like, what the fuck
don't need
does
that from you.
mean?
Listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna tune in.
I need your commentary on it. Please.
I'm gonna tune in. I'm gonna tune in and see what it's about.
That should probably gonna be hilarious. Like because we have to go into it not taking it seriously, so we're not. You know what I mean? Like I want to know what you think of it, Wilkin. So please do that.
Exactly. Why is he doing this? And people are like, "Oh, like if you don't like it, don't watch." I'm like, "You're absolutely right. I don't like it, but you understand that we don't need that from him specifically."
1,000%.
I have like, and people are like, "Relax about it." I'm not gonna relax about it because I like why. Why are you doing this now? This is something you should have did back in the day when they were telling you we can't put black champions over. That's what you should have been doing.
Yeah, that should be very interesting.
It should, but I have no intention. Y'all can tell me how it rolls because
I want to know particularly what Wilkins has to say about it because I know he's gonna be very entertaining and also like he can look at like the devil's advocate of a lot of things. And a lot of times when it comes to like racism and sexism, like it's hard for me to do that. So I am intrigued. Steph, oh Lord, Steph, it's crazy. It's crazy out here.
That's the first thing I said to Steph. I was like, oh God. I was like, why? And people were like, relax. I'm like, I can't. I'm like, he's doing the most. And people are like, well, other people have done it before. And I'm like, right, but you expect that from him. Y'all expect him to just find something to do. And then you're like, for somebody who hates wrestling so much, why are you asking Stevie Ray, of all people, to do this with?
Right.
Like, why? Leave that man alone.
Right.
Let him enjoy his Hall of Fame ring with his brother and leave him alone. Because I get we need platforms like that in order to survive. It's kind of like the environment. It's like kind of like a balance shift in the universe. But I don't need it from you. Ever.
Yeah.
However you feel about Booker, I feel Stevie is worse.
Damn.
That's a deep dive in itself because there's also stories.
God. Ahmed Johnson.
Ew. Ahmed Johnson. What's wrong with Ahmed Johnson?
I don't know. Is he coonish? I don't know if that's what it is.
And that's why I don't like that term. Like
he said, Stevie is his friend, and they all have talks all the time. I'm interested in hearing what they have to say. So honestly speaking, I know they are friends because we had Stevie Ray on the Jabba Tears podcast, and he did mention how they be having those conversations about race and stuff of that nature. So I'm gonna give it a listen. I just hate the fact that Vince Russo says bro all the time. Every time he speaks. He says bro a lot. Like a lot. He goes,
bro.
Yeah, bro.
He gives New York accents a bad name.
He's trying too hard. That's why I've been trying to tell y'all, but nobody wants to get it. Like he's trying way too hard. Trying.
Yeah. So that's the reason why. But ladies and gentlemen, we had a great episode with you too.
Thank you.
Once again, Talk with Friends with your boy Sir Wilkins. There's God, Jesus, and then there's Sir Wilkins. And thank you so much for these lovely ladies to join me in this early morning.
Thank you. Being on the premiere. This is my first premiere episode of anything, so I appreciate you having me on.
This is awesome.
This was awesome.
Thank you. We talked about Xena, racism, sexism,
lesbianism,
all
fun.
I'm getting that. I'm texting you once I start this deep dive because now I'm really like dead ass. I'm really about to sit here and decipher what I missed in my youth. That's gonna ruin my youth.
Before we end this, they literally go over different episodes of points where they're like, "Oh, this shows the point of it." Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let me see if I can share my screen.
Ooh.
Oh God.
I think the subtleness of it is sexier to me because, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not so out there.
It wasn't pushed on you. What you're saying. Yeah, I get that. That I definitely understand.
Okay, Xena and Gabrielle's gayest moments. Let's go.
What a deep dive.
Gayest moments.
This is gonna be funny as hell.
What am I walking into?
Oh my goodness. Whoa.
Wait, it's like literally titled that on YouTube?
Part 2.
Oh my God. Is this a part? Oh my God.
Yeah, it's on my Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi's trash right now. Okay.
Oh, damn.
God damn it.
Is it your Wi-Fi?
It might.
It took all of one comment to get me to make a part 2 to Xena.
Sis really went down a deep dive. She said part 2 from the comments. Lord.
Yep.
Jesus, take the wheel.
We'll go to part 1. There's a part 3.
I'm so glad that you are all enjoying my Xena and Gabrielle's gays moment.
What's up with the Wi-Fi right now? Hold on. I got too many windows.
Just look at how they're looking at each other.
I want part 3. The awesome thing is that there's still.
Gabby was a pretty girl though. Give it words too.
Yeah, they both were pretty.
Let's dive in.
She's really pretty.
A long time ago.
So basically, this is what it is. So everybody want to know Xena and Gabrielle's gayest moments. There's a whole
the consequences of our life together.
Yeah.
That it might one day come to this.
Yeah, you're gonna have to post that link for us all to watch it.
In the chat.
Look at you now. This is to be our destiny. Let's see it out together. Even in death, Gabrielle. I will never leave you.
You see?
Favorite episode.
I just thought they were like really good best friends. Oh God.
This quiet, character-driven, two-handed episode.
She might as well have said, "You my person."
Is wounded with a poison arrow, but with the Persian army advancing on Athens and with Xena the only thing standing in the way, we see her struggle with putting the needs of the many before the need to find an antidote to save Gabrielle.
The first thing is the greater good. You taught me that. You taught me that there are things in life worth dying for.
Wow.
Things that hold a higher meaning than our own existence. Not your existence. Mine. Because I'm your friend? Yes.
It offers a number of points.
So that's basically
moments between our gals, which reinforces the strength of their bond.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Xena, Big Gay. On these
the perfect way to end the show.
Yes.
I love coffee talk.
I love this.
So, you guys drop all your tags and everything, where you guys are from and everything, all that good stuff. Let me pull up. I'm gonna drop the link in the tag in the chat for everybody.
Well, you can find me, of course, on Those Wrestling Girls show. Shout out to Krista B. New episodes coming out soon. Our 5th anniversary, November 4th. Follow us, subscribe to our YouTube, subscribe to our Patreon. You can find me on my single socials at Queen 3_PR everywhere. And thank you for having us, Wilkie.
Yeah, no problem.
That's it. I don't even need the group chat. I just found the video you were talking about. But anyway, as always, on other platforms, it's your honorary wrestling girl. You can find me on the handle right in this title. Reload.relive on other platforms except for X. I am relive via film on X or Twitter or whatever it is for me today. I'm also on YouTube, and I'm on Wednesdays with TWG Fan Club, hanging out, talking about the same type of deep dive stuff. And I'm now here on Coffee Talk. I can add this to the platform. So on my website, that link in bio. If you want to rewatch this madness, just go to my link in bio. It'll be posted by the end of today, and you can watch us talk more about Xena and Gabrielle's relationship. She had a lesbian haircut. I should have known about Gabby. We're off topic. The show's over. But catch us all on my social media platforms there, and I can't wait to hang out with y'all.
All right. Peace, guys. Thank you.
Peace out. Thank you.